ELO Living Thing on BBC Radio Bristol, 7 minutes to 7. Thanks for joining us all this week. I'll be back on Thursday next week, going up to Richard Cornock's farm up in South Gloucestershire at Titherington. Bluebell Wood, he's called it. It's given away in the name, I suppose, but he says it's a beautiful time of year up at Titherington on his farm as summer approaches. Not getting too carried away, but it is, of course, warmer. We'll look into all the nice changes on the farm with that man who brings it all to life for people like me who know very little about the countryside, having lived in towns for the vast part of my life. So that will be good. Thursday, I'm in Paris this weekend, of course, running a marathon, and then having a couple of days off with my feet up. I wish. Let's get out.
Ben Prater, get off my Laaand!
Rich, how are you?
I'm alright, lovely to see you, Ben.
Look at this.
That's the dog jumping up on you and saying hello, isn't it?
That's Rusty's welcome.
It is Rusty's welcome. Last time you had a bit of cow muck on your leg.
You wash Rusty's feet off?
No, not for BBC people.
He's in new jeans fresh on today. I know out here you will wear the same clothes for 20 days in a row, you know?
At least 20 days. You didn't wear any wellies again, did you?
Or a coat.
Do you know what? You're lucky to be out here now. It's beautiful now, isn't it? I mean, when you came here last time in March, we were running around with Graham. Yeah. We were freezing, weren't we?
How is Graham? He went down very well with the listeners.
Did he?
He's a curious chap.
He's
Look, heart of gold.
Unusual chap. He's England's character, I suppose you'd call him. When you came last time, the cows were inside, weren't they? Well, now, thank goodness for us and for them, we've let them out, and they're out in the fields, and it's just lovely to see them out. If you notice, actually, this is a quick little bit of nugget of information. Can you see they've got a slight sheen on them and a little bit hairy?
Yeah.
That's their winter coat on there. And surprisingly, cows have a winter coat. Their hair grows a little bit longer in the winter, and by the summer that will have gone and they'll be back to all slick again. There you go, it's a little factoid for you.
I like it. I could just stare at them all day.
They're curious, aren't they? They're quite mellow cows. I always think they're sort of probably one of the most chilled out animals on a farm.
Now I am walking a bit like John Wayne. You said that.
Yeah, I'm got to
Paris
give you...
marathon. It went all right, but this has brought it all back to me because my pacemaker for about 5 miles of the race was a man dressed as a cow.
What?
Une vache,
How
as they
fast
say
can
over
the
there.
cow go?
You're behind a cow. That's what they were shouting at me. You're behind a cow. He was quick actually. There wasn't much fat on that cow. He was a solid stock.
I tell you what, you don't want to be stood around the back end of a cow this week because they come out on the fresh grass. They're a little bit, as we say, loose. So if they cough, you run. Dear, oh dear.
So it's easy life for you now then? You've got them all
easy,
out.
Yeah, thanks. Easy life, easy. Yeah, it's much easier actually. I mean, for us, once we open that gate and they've jumped out into the field, you just think, well, that's a relief. I haven't got to feed them and we haven't got to clean them out. But they're happy to be outside. I was just saying, I've put a clip on YouTube which your listeners might want to look at. If they go onto YouTube and type in cows go out April 2011, they'll see a video clip I did of letting the cows out, and it's a really lovely video clip because I filmed opening the gate and they run out towards you and they get in the field, and it's the only time you'll see cows jumping.
You can sense the freedom.
Yeah.
Can you?
Oh, it's amazing. It's like Born Free or something, you know.
Braveheart.
Braveheart, isn't that full of Scottish blokes with woad on them? That's slightly the wrong kind of film.
I've just been running through a field with glee.
Chasing people with daggers and axes.
Yeah.
I haven't got any axes. Oh, my cows don't run around with swords.
No sign of Mel Gibson in this field.
This is your
it's
country
all right, we're
piece,
just
isn't
talking.
it?
We're just talking.
Here they come.
They seem ever so inquisitive today, don't they?
Well, they are. If you stand in a field, the cows will always come up to you and have a sniff. Look, here we come. Can you hear them breathing in?
Yeah.
Giving you a little snifter. They're all coming now, look. What's that aftershave you got? Eau de cow, is it? It's a special...
Got off a bloke in Paris.
Did you? He was selling cheap cow aftershave, was he?
Every mile as he went round.
€1 bottle.
Listen to my scent again. You are lovely, aren't you, boy?
505.
Yeah, lovely.
These have all got names, actually, believe it or not. Although they've got a tag in with a number. My dad's named all the cows. And if we look on a border back in the milking parlour, you can look up their names. I think he had a lot of girlfriends in his youth.
So she might be called Cheryl?
Oh, I think there's a few Cindy's.
Oh, yeah.
Eh?
So what's happened then? So you let the cows out?
We let the cows out, and now we're kind of cracking on with other jobs, really. I mean, we've just had a couple of fields ploughed. We're going to grow some maize. And it's really a case of catching up on everything that you couldn't do in the winter because you've got so much work to do with the cows. So I've just started repairing some machinery ready for mowing. I've got to go around and sort out some of the fences because the fence posts have rotted off and things. But it's such a relief, you know, that the cows aren't, well, for me personally anyway, the cows aren't in now, and we can just get on with doing other jobs because it takes so much time normally.
Yeah.
You know? But look around you,
Well,
it's not...
I was going to approach the clanking issue.
Oh, the clanking.
That is a very nice shed, Mr.
It's
Cornock.
a new shed, yeah. That wasn't here last time you came, was it? That's going to be another cattle shed, actually. We were a bit pushed for space.
So this is expansion.
Well,
has this been since the Ben Prater Get Off My Laaand's been broadcast? You know?
Well, our expansion plans.
You get absolutely no money.
Do you know what?
A bit of profile out there, you know?
You must be something I don't know if you think you'll pay for that shed.
How many were you shoving there then?
Well, how long's a piece of string, really? I mean, the thing is, we're not 100% sure how we're going to divide it up yet. We're going to probably put some feed barriers in there, and we'll have that for some dry cows, which are cows that are due to calve but not being milked. And it's their winter housing, really, because ideally you want to separate them from the main herd so they have a different sort of feed regime. So the idea is that they'll be in there and we can look after them properly, because up to now they've been in with the young stock, and the problem is that they get the same feed as any other animal.
A cow cake supplier, is it, Rich?
Someone phoning, yeah.
More cow cake.
Can I just get this, Ben?
Of course you can, yep. Farmers with mobile phones. How it's changed.
Oh, Terry the plougher. Sorry, sorry,
it's
mate.
Terry the plougher on the
You
blower.
lost me there. Have you? Well, we're actually going to be out there soon because I got Ben here at the moment from BBC Radio Bristol. So are you? We might. Yeah. Well, we'll probably drive by you. We might call in on the way back and see you anyway. All right? Yeah. Ploughman's lunch. Yeah. Thanks very much for that. All right. Cheers. Bye.
So that's Terry the plougher on speed dial 1, is it?
Well, I called him Terry the plumber. I couldn't hear properly on there. It's Terry the ploughman. He ploughed the field yesterday and he's along there rolling it now. So we'll go and have a look at what he's doing, and we'll nip up to the Bluebell wood, and then I've got a few other little bits and pieces up my sleeve for you.
Terry the plougher, you said you never sit in this field with a nice chunk of cheddar and a.
Well, does
he have a ploughman's?
He stopped for his lunch. He's probably having a packet of Watsits.
Don't tell me that.
No, I'm sure he sat there with a slab of cheese.
And a lovely couple of pickled onions.
I tell you what, he's probably got in a spotted handkerchief.
Well, Rich, I've commented on the beauty of your tulips, but it's not tulips we're talking about today, is it?
Well, we're going to go off and see some lovely bluebells now, because actually it's just coming up for the spot on time when the bluebells are out, and we've got a little piece of wood along the road, and they're all out. I went up there the other day, absolutely gorgeous, and we'll go and have a look at that.
You texted me the other day. You were so carried away by it, weren't you?
Wonderful. I mean, the thing is,
it
was a sunny morning. Unfortunately, not quite so sunny today, and I was sat there in amongst these bluebells, and it was surrounded by them, and it's just the place to be, I think. You'll see it when we get there.
BBC Radio Bristol's a place to be, of course.
Well,
as well as your Bluebell
and the Bluebell wood. But I tell you what, Ben, you know that programme Ashes to Ashes where they used to fire up the Quattro? We're going to crank up the Land Rover now.
Look at that.
So let's get in the beast.
Oh, dear.
25 years old, still going strong. Good old British Land Rover.
All legal? Don't suppose it needs to be on your land, does it?
No, we're going on the road. All legal.
Sorry.
Come on.
Sorry, officer. He's got all the documentation.
What do you think I am? Some sort of dodgy retrobate. All legal. Come on.
Has this got a choke?
No, but it takes a while for the glow club plugs to warm up the diesel. Crank up the Land Rover. Yes! Oh. I tell you what.
Look at that gear stick shuddering.
I've got to love a Land Rover, because the thing is, they're more or less the same design as they were from 50 years ago. But when someone gets something right, you don't need to change it, really.
How many times has this broken down on you?
Never breaks down, Ben, ever. Nothing, you know? No, it's like anything. I mean, it's 26 years old now. It's showing its age, but as the Land Rover goes, it's such a versatile, rugged vehicle that it's not really important how old it is, really. I mean, you see plenty of these old Land Rovers around that are 40 and 50 years old, people still driving them.
How's Titherington? Any big news? Shock, scandal? Any, you know?
I think so. I think they're looking for some parish councillors at the moment. They're a bit short on those. They've only got 2, and I think they need 5.
Interested?
Someone did ask me if I would stand to go on the parish council, actually, but you know, with a young child and another one due in 7 weeks, it's not very easy. So anyway, this is on the right hand side. These are all our fields, and you can see these are all the trees we planted as you go by. You see a lime tree there, oak tree there, another lime tree. Try and make it, you know, the English landscape a nice place to see.
Who are these? Who's your neighbours here?
I can't remember their name, actually.
Can't remember their name?
They moved in last year. They're new. They've got to be here for another 40 years before they get too late.
If you're the Cornock's neighbours...
Terry the ploughman's on the left, look. Just see him.
With his pickled onion, his hunky cheese, his lovely crusty bread, and
rolling, if you look there.
A flask of cider.
There he is, look. He's rolling that down now. See, he ploughed that yesterday. You can see the difference, and there he's just cultivating that bit on the left, rolling it down.
Is that your field as well?
That's our field, yeah. We've got more than one field, otherwise our cows wouldn't have anywhere to go, would they? Right, we're going to Jones's Furlong now. This field along here is the furthest field from the farm. We're just going up, it's only there where that wood is. And it was ploughed yesterday and it's going to be drilled with maize seed in about probably 2 or 3 weeks' time. So you're seeing it very much at the starting stage of when it's going to be planted.
Whoa!
I'm not going to drive up there.
Deary, I mean, that's a bit rutted, isn't it?
Where's your seatbelt? You ain't got it on.
Oh, you had yours on?
Well, it's
I didn't think you did that in the country.
It's against the law not to be in a vehicle without a seatbelt.
It was all like in the 70s.
Oh, dear.
Oh well, deed's done now.
In the
I don't think it can be done retrospectively.
Well, it depends who's listening to this.
Well, thousands are listening to this, Rich. Your door doesn't work.
Yeah,
there we
there
go.
you go.
Oh dear. No wellies, no seatbelt, no bluebells around here either.
We're going up there, so it's a bit of a walk. But if you just look at this field here, okay, this is quite interesting to talk about how things have changed in farming terms. This field is 8 acres, okay, which is a unit of measurement. You can use hectares, but if you take 8 acres, okay, when this used to be ploughed originally, people used to plough it with oxen, and then eventually it was ploughed with horses. And my dad was saying this morning, he said that on average it used to take a ploughman a day to plough an acre. So 8 acre field, it would take 8 days to plough this field. Terry with his plough and tractor yesterday did this in less than a day. So the difference is, instead of 8 days, we're talking probably 6 hours or something. And that's in my dad's lifetime, how things have changed. Because when my dad was a boy, they had cart horses here and they ploughed this by hand with a bloke behind 2 horses with a horse-drawn plough. So it's just amazing how times have changed, really, in his lifetime. The question I've got to ask you, is it possible we'll end up going back to horses in another 70 years?
Why?
Because, well, how much oil is there left in the world?
Okay.
Interesting kind of thought. You could be seeing, this could be the cusp of technology changing.
Are you a bit of a doom-monger when it comes to oil? I can't imagine you're one of these people that says, you know.
Technology always changes, doesn't it? I mean, you can't predict how things are going to change, because that guy 70 years ago who ploughed this field by hand would never have dreamt that there would be a bloke out here with a 150 horsepower tractor ploughing it in one day. So we can't tell what's going to be in another 70 years, you know.
Yeah,
certainly
it's true.
oil ain't going to last forever, but you know, who knows what solar technology might change to, or anything. Although I can't see a wind-powered tractor really catching on. Are you all right walking on this playground?
Oh, dearie me.
I tell you what, this is probably...
John Turner wouldn't have done this.
This is probably better keep fit than you training for them. Do you want to walk on this Virgie?
Give me the soft bit, would you?
Yeah. You tell
Pass
me,
all the
you come
stingers.
to the countryside, dressed up as if you're walking down Clifton to do a bit of shopping.
Well, when you said Bluebell Wood, I thought it was at the end of, you know, your little cottage or something.
The trouble is, Ben, being a farm, it's not like a little your garden where you've got a little pot with a few bluebells at the bottom, and then you've got your orchard in a little
I want
pot.
it to be like my Lego farm, all right? Like my Duplo farm at home.
It's 140 acres, this farm, so they can't all be close to where everything is.
What's his soil breakdown like then?
Oh, this isn't bad.
What's its
It's
qualities?
a bit stony out here, actually. It's a ridge of stone, because near Titherington, Titherington's got a quarry, and just on this ridge here is some stone, so the plough can't go in that deep in some bits. Generally speaking, we're quite lucky on this farm. We've got quite good quality soil. But this bit here, like I said, we'll be planting this for maize, and you'll come back here. This will be drilled probably 3 weeks' time. Next time you come out, you might just see the plants emerging. By the time you come back here in, say, October, the maize plants will be 8 foot tall, and you won't be able to see that wood.
So that'll be my cornflakes, won't it?
Well, no, it won't be actually, because it's completely different sort of type. It's for cattle forage, and we'll have a look at that when you come out, because it actually does look like, if you take it, it's like a corn on the cob you get down at Asda.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if you bit into it and had it for your tea, it'd be like eating old sawdust, because the plants are selected for the kind of energy value, if you like, for the cattle, for forage, rather than for sweetness and taste, because the ones that you have in the supermarket are kind of like a different variety. So if you tried nicking these out of my field thinking you'll have a free tea, you'd be all sat around going, ooh, ooh.
You'd get your gun out, wouldn't you?
Get off my land. Do you know, I've never said that to anyone. Apart from you. We're walking probably the hardest bit now, aren't we? See what I mean about this is better than doing the Paris Marathon.
I was going to say, if the Champs-Elysees looked like this, they'd have some serious issues.
How long's the marathon?
26.2 miles.
26.2 miles on this, you'd be probably a bit tired.
I wouldn't do that in 3 hours 48, would I?
But I'll tell you what, there's another little fact about this field. It's called Jones's Furlong, okay? Now, do you know anything about furlong?
How many horse racing?
Unit of measurement. And a furlong is 220 yards, which is roughly the length that an ox could plough before it probably got knackered, I think. And this field is Jones's Furlong, so I assume that from that Land Rover down there to the wood is 220 yards, or 201 metres if you want to be accurate.
Oh, I like that. He's got all the statistics at hand, hasn't he?
Well, there's Wikipedia, isn't there?
Looking forward to the summer. Are you going to any trade festivals or, Bath and West?
Always go to Bartley Show. Love a bit of Bartley Show.
Where's the Bartley Show?
Well, Bartley.
Change that. Where's Bartley? Is it out of the BBC Radio Bristol area? I think I'm on safe ground.
It's just on the edge of Thornbury, actually. It's just up the road there.
Bartley.
Berkel.
Oh, Barkley.
Barkley,
I thought you said Bartley.
Gloucester accent.
Speak proper, Rich.
It's walking over this playground.
Barkley, yeah.
But we always get a Bartley Show, and then there's Frampton-on-Severn Show, which is pretty good. But because we got a little one due in June, we kind of put all plans on hold at the moment just to wait and see how that goes, Right, let's just stand here a minute. Can you see, right, this woodland, catch our breath as well. Can you see that woodland there? Can you see a little hint of blue through there?
Yeah, strange.
Yeah, what do you reckon that is?
I think that's my bluebells.
That's your bluebells. Let's go and have a look. It's well worth a visit up here.
Do people know about it? Do people trespass on your land?
There's a footpath coming through here, actually. And I'll tell you what.
Why don't they tarmac it then?
Tarmac a footpath. Let's just pave over the countryside.
You're right, make it easy for people like me and my brogues.
Well, yeah. Well, the high heels are better.
Are you doing the cleaning bill this time?
Yeah, you're invoicing me every time you come here. You're going to invoice me and say, Rich, this has cost me 20 quid to clean my high heels.
I've seen the size of that shed you're building. I know you got some cash somewhere, I'll tell you.
It's all gone on shed. Here we go. Well, you didn't bring Sally and the kids up here, wasn't it? Yeah, all day. Actually, there is a footpath. We could have gone the easy way, but I wanted you to see what it's like to walk on a ploughed field.
It's a shame I've missed the muck spreading, isn't it? Now they're all out, the cows.
Well, the thing is, Ben, I'm going to get you back one day and do a bit of muck spreading. You've had it easy too long. We're going to get you to do a bit more work. Right, here we go. Look, you're starting to see the haze of the bluebells through there, can't you?
It's very, very enticing. So is this deep down your favourite part of your domain?
Parts of the farm where you just think, oh my God, it's brilliant. And this is one of them, because look at this.
Oh, wow.
Now, I know we all think we're very clever as human beings, but could you design something like this and make something like this?
What's that bird that's just come into view, just for me, look there?
That is, I think it's a goldfinch, actually.
You think?
Well, I'm not an ornithologist, but I've seen a few birds in my time.
Where's Bill Oddie when you need him?
He's probably up there somewhere.
That is priceless, isn't it, eh?
Look at that. Isn't that wonderful?
They're almost purple when we say blue.
Yeah.
Well, if you haven't been out to the country for a while.
We'll walk along. This is a footpath here. We'll walk along just here. This is where the public can walk, actually. This is our bit of the wood, an acre we've got, just coming up here. And you can see it's a well-worn path. But I tell you what, if any of your listeners are looking for something to do on the weekend, I'd say get out in the countryside this weekend and go out and see the bluebells, go out and see the rape fields are coming out into bloom, the golden and yellow that you see. And just go out and just, it doesn't cost you anything. Come and look at this. If you come to Titherington, have a pint in the Swan, look on your Ordnance Survey map and see where the bluebell wood is. Or the
it's all marked down.
Well, there's a footpath marking from the... You can walk...
And it's Jones's Wood.
Yep. Jones's Wood. Walk along from the Swan, past the church, under the hill, come along, follow the footpath and you'll see this. But
there it is, like stretching up.
It's hard to do it on radio, isn't it?
It is. What's the gradient there, do you reckon?
I don't know. But isn't that just wonderful? The thing is, this is another interesting thing, is that bluebells are called an indicator species. And what this indicates is this wood is called ancient woodland, which means it was here before 1600. Because a modern wood wouldn't have a bluebell spread like that, because it takes a long time for that to get established. That isn't sort of 20 years of them spreading. That's hundreds of years of, the sort of them spreading across the wood. But when you see that, that's proper England, isn't it? But that's the whole thing, isn't it? I mean, I have a rubbish winter.
Quite relaxing.
My winter is kind of like, it's down, dark, wet, horrible. But things like this around the corner. And I just come up here and you can just, if it was a sunny day, it's just unbelievable, really. I like stuff like that, really. If you walk along here, you can just see...
Hang on, I'm appreciating the silence.
There's plenty more. Oh yeah, apart from the jumbo jet above. Listen to that bird song there.
Which bird is it?
Well, I don't know. There's loads of them. There used to be nightingales along under the hill, but I've never seen one. Here, wood pigeon.
Beautiful.
You need to set the mic going and get a few ornithologists to ring in and say what each bird song
You'd
is.
just have an hour of it. An easy show, wouldn't it? An hour of bird
anything,
song.
would you?
How many people do you think do walk up here then in a course of a season?
Look how well worn this path is.
This is what your field should be like.
What?
Easy to navigate.
Yeah, well,
walk
it was
along.
until yesterday, and then when someone decided to plough it. But this is our little piece of wood. We don't own very much, but it's...
And so you say it's your piece of wood. I mean, but you
Well...
Not that you would ever do anything with it, but could you? Could you actually change its use from, beautiful, picturesque?
Well, this wood isn't managed at the moment, if you like. It's very much left to go to its own devices. And I'm in this higher level stewardship scheme at the moment for a lot of things like planting the orchard. But potentially one day I could actually come in here and manage this woodland. Because things like the hazel there, you can coppice them. Actually, these are what my mum and dad use as bean sticks. You see these are fairly young growth. And my mum and dad cut them off at the bottom and used those to grow the runner beans up, say buying bamboo poles.
Yeah.
But that was traditionally what everyone did, before you could go down to B&Q and buy yourself a bamboo pole. But it's not managed at the moment, it's just left to go to its own devices. But
look how far it goes
on.
on.
It stretches forever, doesn't it? Blue as far as the eye can see. I mean, what a lovely walk that is for someone on a Saturday or Sunday,
Good for a wedding proposal, Rich, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a good plan, actually.
Hey?
If anyone's looking for
If you're
someone...
thinking this weekend might be the weekend, then what better place?
This is as far as we go, this is our bit, but the footpath goes on down there past the neighbouring farm there. But you can just stand there and just look through that. Brilliant, isn't it?
Which other countries have
well,
this
actually,
degree of bluebells?
there are bluebells northern Europe, and Italy and Spain, places like that do get them. But the Spanish bluebell is a bit of a baddie, actually, because it's a slightly different type of bluebell. It's more upright, and the flowers sort of go round the whole top of it. If you see the British bluebell, you see the flowers are all on one side and it bends over, the weight of them. The Spanish one sticks up, and there's a lot of problems at the moment because they're sort of being brought into this country, for people in their gardens and stuff, and they've sort of cross-fertilised, and now you're getting hybridised bluebell, which is a bit of a problem.
Sounds a bit like an Al Murray sketch. Just beautiful British bluebell.
Get off my bluebell.
Get off Spanish bluebell.
Just breathe that in a minute. Deep breath.
It's heady, isn't it?
Heady smell of bluebells, isn't it?
British bluebells.
British bluebells, yeah.
No, Spanish bluebells.
Do you know something, Ben? I've got to watch where you're standing. Do you know? Because otherwise I'm going to have to say to you, Ben Prater, get off my bluebells!
This is absolutely wonderful. And people can catch this. Hang on, sorry, excuse my knees. That's nearly 4 hours of Paris tarmac in there.
Have I got to give you a piggyback?
Don't say I'm whinging.
You're going to need a piggyback home, aren't you?
What's You can see a bit of this on your YouTube channel, can't you, as well?
Like
Cornock 1 or something?
I don't know what it is. I'm not very technical, and I need to get myself a website at some point to put these video clips up. But at the moment, I put them on YouTube. And if you've gone on there and looked up Cows Go Out April 2011, on the same, I think it's YouTube channel, there's also a clip of the bluebell wood and a few other things. There's one of a calf standing up, just starting to stand up. And there's a few other things, bits and pieces. I'm just sort of experimenting, if you like. So, I hope your listeners will get a chance to look at that.
The calf standing up sounds like the best.
Well, have you seen that clip? It's really good, actually. The calf was born, and 10 minutes later, it was standing up. And I videoed it.
Is that quick?
Well, that's normal. Can you imagine how long does it take for your son to start walking?
Sooner the better. Yeah, 13 months, maybe.
Yeah, and a calf will stand up within 10 minutes because it's natural survival. And in the wild, in the old days before man, domesticated them, there'd probably be a wolf or something around. They can't just lie around waiting for mum to come along. They've got to get up and get on with it.
So there's no crawling.
No,
it's just
literally a bit of kind of looks like me on a Friday night after a few beers. It's like and then it's on, up and gone. It's quite a nice sight to see, really. So I put that video clip up there. Anyway, I'm going to take a picture of us sat in the bluebell wood.
And you were saying, it's a great. Well, obviously.
I do kneel back down because I'm going to.
Oh, dearie me, here we go.
Yeah, well, we've got to capture this moment, Ben.
I mean, this only looks as spectacular as this for what, 2 weekends, you reckon?
Yeah, I reckon you've got 2 weeks. It's probably coming up to the peak time.
How's that?
There you go, spot on.
They could use this as my new publicity shot.
Ben Prater in the
Loves nothing more than a sit in a bluebell wood.
Careful how you spell that. There we go. You're like an old man standing out there, Ben. Do your joints really ache after the run?
Oh, yeah.
I bet you felt like...
Well, I've not had cause to kneel down like that in a bluebell wood yet.
Not every day you see two kneeling in a bluebell wood, is it?
Not really, no.
But, I mean, I'm glad you came up here at this time, because the thing is, it's all very well me saying to you, oh yeah, come up to the bluebell wood, and you think, oh, there'll be a few little bluebells in a pot virtually. When you see this, how many are there here? Could you count that?
No.
Look at that. It's amazing. I just, every year I see this, and every year I just think it's amazing. I just think.
And you couldn't, like you say, you couldn't
couldn't
replicate
plant
this.
it or anything.
You couldn't
could you?
do this as a Chelsea exhibition, could you?
It's incredible. There's some primroses over there on that bank as well, look, just coming through. It's just wonderful. There's a track here. That must be an animal like a badger or a fox. Can you see how it goes through there? Because they always go on the same spots. They won't go through a wood or something like that. There's another one going down there, look. Can you see? Or possibly deer. We get deer up here a lot as well, actually, because they like the cover.
I mentioned earlier, I'm reading Danny Champion of the World to my lad.
Yeah.
His dad goes out and gets pheasants.
Oh, right.
How far do you have to travel to get pheasants in this neck of the
Plenty
woods?
around here.
Are there?
I'm surprised we haven't come across a few yet, actually. Well, there was about half a dozen out here yesterday. The thing is, near here there's a big shoot, so they released them. But there's a lot of wild ones as well. We'll probably see one as we walk down the hedge or something.
Welcome back, Bluebell Wood, on the edge of the Cornock Empire. Now, we've all got our penknife out at times, maybe, and carved our initials in a tree.
Yeah.
But how many of us have engraved our name in a real British style?
Well, this is it. I love this up here, actually. It's funny because there's probably thousands of walkers who've come over this style in the last 70 years, and they probably a very small percentage of them have ever noticed this on the top of it. But the guy who built this style left his mark, and if you look on the cement there, it says R. Skuse, June 1939, and that guy, his name was Ron Skuse, and he lived just up the road there. My dad knew him. He's dead now, obviously. But I always look at this and think, we leave nothing behind in life, or very little, but this guy left behind for 72 years a style which thousands of people have jumped over and enjoyed as part of their walk. You know, what a legacy is that? I think that's great.
And there's the whole 1939 June, so, you know.
Well, there is. I mean, the thing
how
is...
much did he know of the horrors that are about to unfold?
If we stand here, okay, now this is April, and 2 months on from that, he was stood by this wood in a beautiful, tranquil area. No concept of what was going to come up in 2-3 months' time, you know, the start of World War II. And it's almost, I almost find it a little bit sad, really. You sort of think, you know, there's an innocent guy there building a style, yet three months down the line, the whole world changed. But we're going to have a little look at something else now. I've got a little spot on the farm which I want to show you, and we'll talk about a little bit about World War II and a few other aspects of life on the farm. Should we go and have a look? Can you make it down that ploughed field again, Ben?
Give me a piggyback, will you? You knew this was happening. You knew my marathon plans.
You know when you come to the countryside this time of year, everything's in bloom, isn't it? I mean, the fruit trees are starting to bloom, the bluebells are out, and we just got in here. Actually, just going over is some blackthorn. You can see the white flowers on it.
Not the plastic bottle of the 2 litre cider.
Hey,
that's a lot of my listeners when you say blackthorn.
Dry blackthorn.
I think that's what you're. I'm sorry, I've got to.
Come on, catching up.
Point the way for them, Rich. You know.
How many of your listeners drink a bottle of blackthorn a day?
Probably more than would admit it.
Well, I'll tell you what. We won't drink blackthorn later in the year, but we'll have a bit of sloe gin, because that blackthorn will produce sloes later in the year, and then they look like little grapes. Little black grapes. So we'll pick those, and I won't give you a game away, but we'll make some sloe gin ready for your Christmas dinner. How about that?
I thought we needed to do a bit of production.
We got to get a bit of food and drink in this program.
I think we have.
You know, we haven't got.
We can have a feast at Christmas.
We
all
could.
The things we've made in the year.
We can make up through the year. We're going to see what we can do.
Apples from my tree.
That's it.
Or maybe not ever.
Your tree. We haven't touched that,
no, what comes at the end?
We'll mention that later. Anyway, that's something for later in the year. But at the moment, you're seeing it before anything's formed, just the blossom on the tree.
Rich, you didn't lock your Land Rover up.
This is the country, Ben. We're not in Wixcroft now. We don't have to worry too much.
Anyone could have taken this.
Oh, I didn't even.
It's a relic.
Relic? I think I am after walking over that ploughed ground.
Do you leave your doors open as well then?
What, in
well,
the
you
house?
live in Thornbury, don't you?
Yeah, you still got to lock stuff, but
your Land Rover in a ploughed field is safe.
Well, realistically, the nearest population around here is quite a way. If they're going to walk all the way out to this field to nick a Land Rover, they've got to be really looking to do something.
Targeted crime.
You do have to be careful, actually. There is quite a lot of crime in the countryside, as in quite a lot of tractors and things get nicked. But I was pretty confident down here we were right. But yeah, we don't leave keys in the tractors at night or anything like that. Be careful. You know what that field of gold is out there?
Rapeseed.
Well done, oilseed rape that is. We'll have a look at that.
That's my vegetable oil.
It is your vegetable oil or your biofuel.
That's the first stage of my fajitas last night.
Was it?
Bit of that in the pan.
Fair play.
Bio oil, now there's an argument, eh?
Bio oil, yeah. Now the thing is, if you grow biofuel, you're not growing any food, are you? So there's going to be a big problem in the future if we rely on biofuel for everything. Where are we going to grow the food? Because the world population is growing by about 75 million a year. The world isn't growing any bigger, is it?
Well, I read an article in a paper the other day. Made me feel quite guilty about having 3 children, Mr. Cornock.
You sinner.
So who was it? Came out and said that's the biggest difference you can make to society is by only having 1 child.
Oh,
you're
laughing
lonely, though. Well, exactly.
You know, we want Jack to have a little playmate. Hang on, let's go back here a minute. This is interesting. Let me show you something. This is something, one thing in the countryside that really annoys me. And this is a problem we do get quite a lot of. Look out here on your left there. What's that?
Fly tipping.
Fly tipping. And where we've just been in James's Furlong, we've had things like people have dumped tops of Laaand. We've had wardrobes dumped in there. Someone dumped a whole load of builder's rubble in the middle of the field.
Up in the bluebell wood?
No, up in that where the ploughed field. They drove in, dumped it, so we have to lock the gate a lot of the time now. And it's really sad because there's tips down the road. Why don't people just drive an extra mile and dump? Because, you know, they haven't even bothered emptying out the bag, so the plastic bag's not going to rot, is it?
It's laziness, it's a lack of respect.
But, you know, people want to come to the countryside and see a beautiful countryside, but they'll still go out and chuck their rubbish in a gateway.
I suppose I should have picked that up, really, shouldn't I?
That's over there, look.
Shouldn't we have stuck that in the back of the van? We don't know what's in it.
Speak to the council and get them to take it.
South Gloss Council, there's 2 black bags at the end of Stidcott Lane.
That's it, get over here now. We don't know what's negative biohazard, better wear your white suit.
ASAP. Pull your finger out. I know these dandelions.
Well done. You're getting good, mate.
Thanks,
I'll tell you what.
Thanks, Rich. Means a lot.
I think at the end of the year, I'm going to host a little quiz for you. And I'll be asking you questions.
We could do a listener's quiz.
We could do a listener's quiz, and you're going to get wet feet now. It's dewy, isn't it?
Couldn't we?
We could do a
We'd
listener's
a little
quiz.
Panel.
We'll do a few little tricks like that. It'd be nice, wouldn't it?
It'd probably be easier you coming into the studio and me driving some of my listens out here.
All right, yeah, we'll have a chat about that. Sounds like fun. But let me just talk about this field here. This is going to be silage in a month's time. You can see it's quite long here. It's up to above your sort of ankles, isn't it? Give it another month and it'll be up probably top of my well is, and this will be harvested for silage. But I'm just going to talk about this little bit here. If you look at this, I mean, you can see the English landscape just in front of us. But I mean, this isn't designed, but it's been managed for thousands of years by different sort of people. And so we're now in the form it's in now. But, you know, although you can't see a lot of signs of the people that were here thousands of years ago, there are a few things they leave behind. And I just happen to have with me, you know the film...
I was wondering what the satchel's about.
You know the film Hot Tub Time Machine? This is the Titherington Twin Tub Time Machine. Right.
That was your laptop.
Yeah,
leave the technology at home.
I don't do technology. Right. I got a few little bits in here of what we found over the years on the farm when we've been working it and stuff. Now, if we're going right back, this is prehistoric. This is Stone Age. That's an arrowhead. Can you see that?
Of course I can. It's fantastic.
My dad picked that up in the field.
Just about, what, 2 centimetres?
Yeah, made of flint. And flint isn't native to this area. It would have to been brought into here by trade or whatever. And the Stone Age, I'm not 100% sure on it, but I think it's a very wide-ranging time scale of like 2.5 million years ago till something like 10,000 years BC. But you think that those guys then, that was before metal. That was before copper and tin, bronze and iron. When the guy was getting out of his hut or whatever, he had to go and get his lunch. He didn't go down Tesco's and bought himself some beans. He got his flint arrowhead out and went out, and in this field somewhere here, he had to get his dinner, and that was what he did with it.
A boar.
I don't know what was around 10,000 years ago, 2.5 million years ago. I don't know enough about these things to be sure.
Rabbits, like on the last edition.
Plenty of rabbits, maybe, but I wonder if he was
Graham
out
the
here.
Ferreter wasn't around back then, was he?
I don't know. I reckon. I don't know. Who's the chap who does the weather for BBC?
Angwin.
I reckon he was still around doing the weather,
careful.
wasn't he?
Have you heard the news with Angwin?
No, what's
He's
that?
off Al Jazeera.
Is he? What's
Middle
he
East.
there?
Doing what he does here. Forecasting the
Really?
world weather, yeah.
God,
See?
do you know what? We
You're
rely
like that
on
too.
him.
Now you're going to be guilty. Now you're going to feel
I'm
guilty.
not guilty. I'm gutted because we rely on him. You know, when we were talking about the silage making, his weather forecasts are spot on. And we always study the Richard Angwin weather forecast before just to see whether we can make the silage or not.
Well, I'm sure they get a decent fill-in, but might not be up to Angwin standard.
Oh, well, we have to advertise for that on BBC Radio Bristol, don't we?
Do you fancy the job?
Well, I got a bit of seaweed. Would that work? Dried seaweed out the window.
and one of those things, Puxatawney Pete, what do you call them? What's that little creature called?
What little creature? Hey?
In America, that film they did, and they get the little thing up. And
This is like give us a clue. Isn't it? We've got to mime it.
You haven't got seaweed. You've got a
seaweed.
Groundhog Day.
Groundhog Day. Oh, I remember that film. Yeah, that was quite good, actually.
And it might rain.
We haven't got any of those rain here.
So this
We're
back
off
to
the track
Flint
anyway.
Head.
Back to the Flint Head. So that guy there, can you imagine that? Before electric, before anything, this guy was out here hunting with that flint arrowhead. And we found, over these fields when we ploughed them and things, we found quite a lot of flint. And all the indication of Stone Age man being here. Okay, so we go... So we're talking...
I'm going to get a little bit sort of emotional here,
right,
and sincere, but to hold something like that and to stand in the field,
well,
it
that's
kind of
right,
fixes you at your place in time,
I think so, because I think it's important that all these things are in museums for people to go and see, but there isn't anything better than the last person that handled that before my dad picked it up was the guy who shot that arrow. How about that? You know, that's kind of weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because, you know, he was... And you can't imagine... how the time span, but what I think what that represents in many ways is that you don't own land. You think you do, like we're saying, oh, you own the wood or you own this.
You
don't
own
own it because that guy probably thought he owned it. You know, 100,000 years ago, whenever it was, and we talk about us owning it, but in 100,000 years from now, some other bloke could be here, maybe pick up something I dropped in the field.
An alien, it'd be.
So you go,
an alien.
Three-headed guy or something. You know, more the nuclear radiation from Japan. I don't know what we'll all look like. But seriously, you know, you can't ever own land. You're like a caretaker, I suppose, if you like.
What else is in your tub?
Right, let's go forward a few centuries now. Okay, there we go. 3rd century AD, Roman coin, Claudius.
Bit lopsided, that.
Yeah, well, you see, but you can just about make his head out there. Can you see?
Barbarius.
Barbarius Radiatus.
Radiatus.
Radiator man. Radiator fitter. No, that's a Roman coin from the 3rd century. And that again was picked up here. Okay, so we're fast forwarding in my time machine now. So we've got the Roman coin. Right, now this is a penny, a silver penny from Edward I, 1272. Can you just make out his little head there?
You can still see his head.
Yeah, and still got the dirt on it where we picked it up. Can you see it?
Look at his little mutton chops. Look.
I'll tell you what is interesting about this coin. It's being what they call clipped. Now that coin there, right, would have been that size there, would have been a lot bigger, like probably a penny like you get nowadays. But because silver was such a precious metal, what they used to do is that the public, as it were, used to snip bits off the coin and take away the little clippings and sell them separately. And still that coin would still be legal tender. So can you see it's all been clipped?
So how far could you clip it before it
Well,
wasn't
as far
legal?
as the king's head, and then it wasn't legal tender. But the thing is, they outlawed that, and eventually it was quite a major offence to clip the coins. But eventually, obviously, with the change from precious metal to things like copper and that, people stopped doing it.
It's Edward the First.
Edward the First, yeah.
Did you say second?
Sorry, did I say
Got your
second?
king's wrong.
Edward the First, and his nickname was Longshank because he was really tall. He was over 6 foot, which was unusual in those
He looks
days.
like Bill Bailey there.
It's hard to know, but these are called hammered coins because they were actually struck with a hammer and a stamp. And his main thing was he established Parliament as a permanent institution. But he's also big in Wales. He used to go into Wales and have lots of battles over there, and he built a lot of castles over there. Wikipedia's great, isn't it? I had a look before you came. I'm not really interested.
I'm editing that bit out. Actually, sounds really intelligent.
Yeah. And here we go. Right, fast forward
Hang
again.
on a second. Marty McFly in our time machine in the middle of a field.
We're fast forwarding
in
a lot
Titherington.
now. Okay, Henry VII. Okay, there's a medieval groat. Can you see that cross on there?
Yeah.
And if we spin it over, it's very similar to the other guy.
Any faces?
Yeah, I'm trying to work out. Can you see? It's very hard to see it. Which way up he is. There is a face there somewhere. I'm trying to work out.
That has been clipped, hasn't it?
But that was the original size of the coin, the previous coin. But can you see the edge around there? It's been clipped to that other circle, hasn't it? But that's Henry VIII's dad. And
How did you know that? Because there's no words or anything on there. Did you get them all verified?
I had a chap who helped me look at this up, actually. He was really good, a guy called Jeff. And he knows his coins and his dates and stuff, and he did look it up. But I was sort of thinking...
That's brilliant.
But can you imagine
Absolutely
dropping that?
brilliant.
The guy who dropped that probably got a real rollicking from his wife, because that could have been a week's wages or something. Yeah. Silver coin in...
I can't even trust you to keep our money.
What are we going to live on now? We've got this gruel for another month.
They got 3 for 2, you know.
Yeah, 3 to 1.
3 for 2 board down the supermarket, and now we can't go and buy it.
Can't buy anything.
You absolute idiot.
The old market. Tesco EOS.
I mean...
But this is like a little time machine, as in we've jumped thousands of years in the space of 5 minutes. But, that really shows you how people were connected with this land you know, because we said we leave nothing behind, but the odd bit like that, like the guy with the style, he's left his style behind, you know. We're going to jump forward really now into the present day, okay? I'm going to do my zip here on the special twin tub time machine. Now, if we were stood here 70 odd years ago, there wouldn't be much left of us, because this would have been just raining down on us. And do you know what that is? That there,
presumably part of a bomb.
It needs a Made in Germany stamp on it, but that is a piece of a German bomb. And exactly where we're stood, 2 bombs were dropped in either 40 or 41. My dad was a little boy then, and he came out in this field, and this is a piece of shrapnel that he picked up from that bomb. But be very careful with that. Feel how sharp that is on those edges. Bearing in mind that's 70 odd years old. Imagine if that was flying through the air, what damage that would do to you. Horrendous. And the story goes, I don't know how accurate this is, but basically I think the bomber was being chased by some Spitfires or something, and to lighten its load, it jettisoned 2 bombs. Because as you imagine, in this field, there's no target, there's nothing to shoot or blow up or anything. But near here was Parnell's, which was a big factory in Yate, which made aircraft parts, and then we're not that far from Bristol. So you kind of, like I said before, you don't realise what's out there, but this field has got its history of its own just by these artefacts.
So which way's Germany? Where would they have been going?
Good question. I guess north
Compass
that way, over there somewhere. But I mean, we're 12 miles from Bristol, so we're not very far from, you know, where they would attack. But can you imagine? I mean, that's an unbelievable piece of stuff. How heavy that is.
Blimey.
And we've got some other bits we picked up.
Sorry, listeners, it's about, what, a foot long?
Yeah, probably.
4 inches wide, and that is...
evil piece of stuff, isn't it? I mean, you know, devastation on people's heads in those days. But what was interesting, we're going to have a chat with my dad in a minute, because he was around in that time and he picked this shrapnel up, but also he can remember when people from Bristol used to come out to the countryside to try and escape the bombing in Bristol. I think they started bombing Bristol in 1940, 41 sort of time, and he was 7 or 8 years old then. And like I said, people came out to the countryside to try and seek shelter and get away from it all, you know. As imagine
tell
you
his story. He's got to tell his own story.
Let him tell it. But if you were in Totterdown Towers and you knew there was a blitz going to be coming up,
I'd be straight out here.
You'd probably be here, wouldn't you?
Or maybe down to the Chew Valley.
Chew Valley, that's a bit more
closer.
safe, a bit nicer, yeah.
We need Bill. He's in his garden, tending to his tulips.
He is.
He's got the full story, and what a story it is.
Let's go and see.
Bill, how are you?
Very well, thanks.
Rusty the dog. Just look at my jeans, Bill. You can tell I'm a city gent. Look, these are just out of the washing machine today, Bill. I have to change these when I get home.
Right.
What is
Sorry
she?
about that.
What is he, a little Jack Russell?
Yeah.
10 years old or 70 in dog language.
Yeah.
Nice moist nose.
Yeah. Oh, he's good on the farm. You bring the cows in.
You're not looking too bad yourself, are you? All this fresh country air.
That's what does it. Yeah.
This field used to be all spuds, I'm told, by Rich.
We used to grow potatoes in here. It used to be all dug by hand. Used to have my grandfather used to have a man to come in and dig this part of the garden. It took him a week to do it.
It is just blissful now, isn't it? What have you got? What are you growing in here at the moment, apart from the most gorgeous plants and flowers?
My wife, who's a head gardener, I'm only the under gardener.
Oh, I see. Okay,
yeah,
so it works,
I help more on the farm, but I do help her a bit.
Now, before we get a bit historical, just give me the lowdown on your lad, Rich. Is he all right? He does this series for us, Ben Prater, Get Off My Laaand. Is he a good farmer, really?
Yeah, well, he's not so keen on the cows. He's better with the machinery, I think, the machinery side of it, than the cows. His brother Tom is the dairyman, really.
So he gets his hands dirty then, Rich. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, he prefers the spanner to the cow.
To the udder.
Yeah.
Prefers a spanner to the udder.
Yeah.
Now he filled us in this amazing story. We've seen part of this bomb. Let's go back then 70 odd years, beginning of the 40s, yeah? World War II.
Yeah.
What would this have been like? Well, you remember it well. You were what, 5 or 6?
Yeah, 6 or 7. And as the war went on, I got older, I suppose, you know, up to sort of 10 or 11 at the end of the war. Yeah, I was 11 at the end of the war. So, the Germans would come over and you could hear the engines whining, and they were dropping their bombs in Bristol. And then one got chased by a British plane, and there was searchlights on it, and he was glad to drop his loads, and he dropped bombs in our field, and that's the result of what we found. And there were crowds from the village that came the next day and walked down there. Everybody was walking down there to see the craters.
And you said you'd see the wounded come up on the trains just in the distance. Is it?
Yes, from the
battlefields of Europe.
Yeah, when they did the D-Day landing, beginning of June in 1944, Yeah, when the Americans and British and the Canadians landed on the Normandy coast, and they met with stubborn resistance from the Germans. And I've been there and been all around the coastline and saw what they must have put up with.
Yeah.
Because the Germans, they really put up some resistance that we didn't know much about here at the time, especially the younger generation.
But you'd see some of the wounded on the trains going up to Tortworth.
Yeah. There were 2 engines on the train and a long load of carriages.
What about this family then that you want to try and trace?
Well, I'm not trying to trace them because I'm not certain the exact surname, but...
it's a curious thing, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. The family called Turtons came out and they were so scared and they asked Mum and Dad if they could stay for the night. And I think they came out several nights, during the bombing. They'd come out in a car and we let them have a room just up there, a bedroom. And then they'd go off in the morning back into Bristol to see whether their house had been bombed so they could... And eventually they stopped coming, so I take it their house either survived or they found other accommodation. But as I said, it was pretty secret what was going on in Bristol at the time.
Yeah. Yeah, you mentioned more and more images come out, don't they, as the years go on, just the ferocity and the horror of it, really.
Yeah.
I mean, lots of us knew about the mass evacuations of youngsters, but, maybe thought less of families, just thinking, stuff this, I'm out to the countryside, I'm off to Titherington. So how big was the family? What do you remember about the Turtons? Was it just a couple?
I can't honestly remember. I can't honestly remember that there was definitely a couple, but I don't know whether there were children as well or not. I can't remember children, but...
So was it just all exciting to you at the time?
That's right, yeah. It was exciting, yeah. And see the flashing lights, but we used to sort of hide by the stairs, and by the back front door in case we had to get out, in case the house got hit, we'd try and get out the doors or something. Yeah.
We'll let you get on with the garden before the head gardener comes out. Pleasure to speak to you.
Yeah,
nice
to meet you.
Well, what a lovely week we've had on Rich's farm once again. Until now, there's not much glossing over I can do, Rich, to be honest. We're looking at my rosemary and russet tree, which my Prater family helped to plant back on that cold day in November. I can't help noticing that, how many are there? 27 trees in this orchard.
Here. 26 are looking really healthy. And there's one, well, how can I put it? It looks like a stick.
Well, I can put it that you tried to make me feel better by sellotaping some leaves on the top.
I know, but that's a bit of a joke, wasn't it? Unfortunately, Ben...
Give me the good news. Come on, make it like an episode of Casualty.
The good news is 26 have made it. Unfortunately for you, Mr. Prater, there's one that hasn't made it, or it certainly is looking like... Put it this way, if it's green tips of recovery for a recession... It's not showing any green tips of recovery. It's looking very sick.
I thought the statistics on the Grand National were bad for me, but this is bad odds, isn't it? 1 in 27.
I don't know whether it's going to make it, Ben. I think
you've scratched the bark.
I just
and
had a little scratch. There is a little bit of green underneath the bark, so it's not completely dead. But by now, that should be showing some green shoots or something, and there's nothing. But being transplanted out here earlier in the year, it's quite a big shock for a young tree. So they do take sometimes a while to sort of bed in, if you like.
But mine's quite a hardy tree. I'd like to say it's really
I'd hope
susceptible.
it would make it. I mean, it's 50-50 now, Ben, I think.
How long are you going to give it, Doc?
Oh, it'll stay in there all year. I'm not going to yank it out. You never know.
What, as a reminder that it's dead?
I want you to keep coming back and seeing your dead tree. Poor chap, though. I mean, there's 26 families here who are going to be very happy, but your little kids...
That first one down there, look, it's almost done.
That one's, it's almost got fruit on it, isn't it? I don't know what, that's a damson down there, actually, and the next one, that's a bramley. But if that doesn't make it, what we'll do, we'll get your kids back, we'll get them to plant another tree, and I'll do you a roast dinner. How about that?
Oh, sounds nice.
That sounds all right, doesn't it?
That sounds beautiful, mate. Any more talks, finally? You've done the WIs, you went down well?
Yeah.
Lots of them listen to the show.
I got a few WIs coming up, actually. Yeah, I love the WI. They're great. They love you. They can't get enough of Ben Prater. But I'm doing a talk. If any of your listeners want to come along and hear me talk about the farm, see a few slides, even buy a copy of my book, if you like, A Year on a Dairy Farm. I'm talking at Yate Library on November. I'm talking at Yate Library.
That's a long time to wait. That's a heck of a tease ahead, Rich.
Let's get it right now. I'm talking... He's
very well prepared.
I'm talking rubbish.
I'll be back before November, don't worry.
Back, yeah. Let's start this again. I'm talking at Yate Library, May the 9th, 7:30. Come along. Tickets £2.50, £5 for non library members. All the proceeds from the ticket sales are going to the library funds, which, you know, in this day and age when the libraries are in trouble, I think that's really important. So come along and see me have a chat about the farm and tell me what you think of Ben Prater.
Talking of which,
Ben Prater, get off my land!